Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Confident Women Leader Show. I have an amazing guest today. Her name is Dr. Kelley Mondesire. She is the CEO of White Wolf Advisory Services, and I wanted to say welcome to you.
Thank you, Dina. Thank you for having me on the show today. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm so excited to have you on here. What would you like the audience to know about you? You've got an incredible background.
Well, I consider myself a Renaissance woman. For example, the painting you see behind me, I did several years ago. I ride elephants in the jungles of Southeast Asia. I am an exhibiting artist of sculpture, both here in the United States and in Europe. I've also sat in the boardroom of the New York Stock Exchange as a subject matter expert. I love to fish, clay shoot, golf, and recently I took my Harley motorcycle across the country and back. So I kind of do it all.
You do it all. You've done so much more than I dream about doing. So that's super excited. I'm so glad to have you on the show. And, we met a while back and I wanted to, really kind of jump into these transitions that you've made throughout your career. And where did you jump from being a physician into White Wolf Advisory Services?
Well, I think to step back, we need to get to the story of how did I become a physician. I spent 22 years in the television business, mostly as an executive producer, and had just about done everything you can do in the industry in my niche of the market. I did complete redesigns of networks, had produced Super Bowl commercials, designed Super Bowl intros, worked for MTV, NBA, NFL, and I was really tired of spending 22 hours a day in an edit room. And so I had a revelation of sorts and decided I wanted to go back to school full-time, 5 years, to study traditional Chinese medicine. And in traditional Chinese medicine, we study both Western and Eastern medicine concurrently. So while we're learning Chinese herbal formulas, we're looking at the molecular structures of their sister or brother in pharmacology. So we learn Western pharmacology along with herbal medicine, et cetera, et cetera. So after 5 years of full-time schooling, I opened up my private practice here on Wall Street, and I serviced the who's who of the stock exchange, most of your major banks, politicians, some celebrities, professional athletes, and the residents of the neighborhood. And I had been doing that for over 16 years. And prior to the COVID lockdown and the pandemic and everyone running from their lives or running for their lives from Manhattan, I was thinking, well, what's next? As much as I enjoy private practice, I really wanted to get back out into the world. And when you have a private practice, you really are bound to the clinic and you can't travel as much as you would like to, and your world becomes a little bit smaller. And I wanted to broaden my horizons once again. So I started to do a little bit of consulting for different medical device companies, small projects here and there, as I had been a beta tester for many different products during the 16 years as a physician. And then interestingly enough, with all the soul searching I had done in the year of the lockdown of COVID here in New York City, I started to think about, well, what is it? What's the next step? And how can I combine the television experience with the medical experience? And, it's funny, Dina, we had a conversation about a year ago, a little bit over a year ago, maybe, about this very dilemma I was having. And you had suggested, well, why don't you just consult? Why don't you just do that on your own? You're very capable of doing it. And I said, well, maybe I'll think about that. And after doing a little bit of research and then a little bit more soul searching, that's when I decided to form White Wolf Advisory Services. And I named it White Wolf because the Arctic wolf is a very, very unusual animal. It only lives in the Arctic circle. There aren't too many of them compared to the gray wolf, but they're very unique. And as the white wolf is unique, so am I. And I believe every organization needs a team, and the team is like a pack. And I decided I wanted to form a bespoke advisory service to consult to medical device companies. And as needed, because it is a bespoke service, I would bring in other experts for projects when needed. So my clients, when I build roadmaps for them for their needs, go over their pain points, what are their objectives, I might bring in other experts for certain parts of the project so that we can get the job done, we can get it done efficiently, incredibly effectively, and at a great cost to our client, because we're not wasting time, we're not wasting money, and we can move on and get the product out in a very, very efficient and sensational manner.
Yeah, and I think that's what is really unique about you. When you come from a medical background, you have that ability to speak a medical language for when you need to, because you're going to be speaking with, and I heard experts, I'm sure, for people in the medical device arena, but you're able to translate really important medical information into something that patients can understand, other people can understand. So having that ability to see things for what they are, edit for what needs to edit, but also take it through its life cycle is really, really important. So I'd like to elaborate on that a little bit more, because I think it's so unique because of your background being a physician. Talk to me about kind of how you think through, here's the idea of the medical device product I have, and then let's talk about launch.
Well, it's funny. I look at every project like it's a show, and the show has to go on the air. So, thinking as an executive producer, I say, okay, what's the show? Let's storyboard it. And the storyboards is the roadmap. How are we going to get this show on the air? What do we need to get it? What we need to get it produced and present to the audience or the end user. So if you look at it in that way, we have to see, okay, what do we need? Who do we need? When does this have to be done? When does that have to be done? And then I transcend it into the doctor's hat and say, okay, I need to speak with the KOL of this company to get this task done. Now, I might speak to them in financial lingo because of my background here on Wall Street. I also have a background in business. My original degree was in international marketing and economics. Or I might be speaking with the director of sports medicine of a major hospital about initiating a study for my client. I've done that. I've recently initiated a trial with New York Presbyterian here in Manhattan for a client of mine, and that should get started, I think, in about a month or so. So I have to bring the language, the mission statement of the company to that type of person and speak in their language. Suffice it to say, when I run test groups with customer experience, I might be dealing with a housewife, an executive, an athlete, a high school student, a college student. I need to know how to speak with them as well. And I need to bring complex medical ideas down to their different levels of understanding. And this builds confidence in the other person. They don't feel like I'm dumbing it down for them or pushing it up for them. You have to speak to everyone in the language that they can understand. And I was doing some advisory work for Johnson & Johnson with the HBA organization recently. And I was coined the Barbara Walters of facilitation and leading groups. And Barbara is a little before my time in television, but I took it as a great compliment because yes, I know how to run groups. I know how to lead a pack or a team, and I know how to get things done. And by blending the two experiences together, I don't think anyone out there has that combination of skills. And I think that's what makes me different. And I think that's what makes me successful. And I'm having fun. I'm having a great time.
I love that. I love that. And I know you are. And you're going to continue to be very successful. What would you tell other women that are looking for more confidence and they're being a little tentative, thinking, I don't know if I can do that, or they're just lacking confidence? What would you say to them?
I'll tell a very short story. When I was about 20 years old, all my friends had dates or they were getting engaged or whatever. And one night I looked in the mirror, it was 10 o'clock at night, and I said, if I don't go out by myself and experience life and experience the world, I'll be sitting in this room forever. And so what I did was I got up, I got dressed, I got in my car, and I went out. And of course, it's scary to do something on your own the first time. However, once you have that experience, everything else is gravy. And that's why I have been all over the world by myself. That's why I will ride a motorcycle for hours and hours and hours across the country by myself. That's why I will have been in business for myself since 1987. You have to believe in yourself and you have to take that leap of faith and know at the end of the day, everything is going to be okay. So just take a breath. Say, I can do this. You know, I'm a former competitive Muay Thai fighter, and I spent a lot of time in the ring in my younger days. And you know what? It takes courage to get into a ring where the opposite side of the ring is a person who's there to beat the crap out of you for no reason other than there's
like
a crowd of
business, isn't it?
1,500 people, you know.
Just like business. It's just the same way, right? I love
You know,
it.
sometimes I would say, what the hell am I doing in here? However, here I am, and everybody's screaming and shouting my name. And I would just say, okay, you can do this. All
Yeah.
right. And that's what I would tell people. Look, nobody's getting beat up. Okay, it's all right. And that's what I tell my patients, and that's what I tell young women who want me to mentor them is, look, if nobody's getting beat up, it's all good, you know.
Yes.
Just don't forget your lipstick. But seriously, you have to believe in yourself and just take that step. And if it doesn't succeed the first time, keep trying and trying and trying and trying. You know, the first step is go to a restaurant by yourself, go see a movie by yourself, take little steps if you need to, or just grab life and just do it.
I love that. And you know, no does not mean that you're not good enough.
No doesn't mean anything except for not right now. When somebody tells me no, I do it just to spite them, because you know, when somebody tells me I can't do something, I'll do it just to spite them. It's
I'm the
just
same way.
in my you know, it's in my nature to do it. But no just means not right now. And if you get a no, there's a very big difference between no and not interested. Not interested means forget it, don't waste your time. They're not interested. Right. But a no means anything to I don't have the time right now. I'm not interested right now. No is just not right now. So if someone says no to you, you call them back. You say, I'm going to call you back in 4 weeks. And you make that call. And if they say no again, I say, okay, well, I'll try again in another month. And before you know it, you're going to start to engage and communicate with that person in a different way. And they're going to get to know you. You are going to get to know them as a person. And you humanize then who you are, who they are, and what the product is or the services that you're trying to convince them is really good for them. Yes. And the trick of the conversation is at the end of the day, the other person believes that you are the best thing since peanut butter and jelly. And you have to then convince them that it was their idea in the first place to call you, even though it was the opposite. And when you can sell people on your idea and convince them that it's like the best thing that's ever happened to them, you're golden.
Yep, absolutely. I love that. What would you tell your younger self?
I would say, ironically so, when someone tells you no, do it anyway, right away. Don't wait until you're older or don't have any trepidations. Believe in yourself and just do it and go out in the world. Don't let anyone put you down. Don't let anyone say you can't do it. It's not safe. It's not good. Just kick the dirt away from them and just keep going and believe in yourself and follow your dreams.
I believe too that you've got to be able to invest in yourself. And I think that women who have great ideas and they need some help along the way, or however that is, never ever think that you're on an island by yourself, because there's people out there that can help you move and help, create that next opportunity for you. So I love that.
Yeah, and if I had one last thing to say, I would say, don't be afraid to ask for help. No one will know you need help unless you reach out and you ask them.
Right.
And I think that's something I would tell my younger self. Don't feel weak or vulnerable if you need help. Ask for the help. It takes a lot of courage to ask for help, but once you ask, you'll see people will help you. And I did an ask recently, and I've now been given the opportunity to open up a satellite office in Lake Geneva in July. So I'm looking forward to that. And people stay tuned for that news on LinkedIn.
I love it. I love it. Well, you're such an inspiration. I love having you on the show today, in the Confident Women Leader Show, Dr. Kelley Mondesire, and I wish you the greatest success. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Dina. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.